How you doing? This is Jesse, aka Directbolt, creator and developer of Dune 2: The Golden Path, and I am recording voiceover for a game that I recorded previously, and the file itself actually got junked. I ended up being able to repair the video file itself, so that is the reason why you're seeing this start at 13 minutes into the game already, and there are an awful lot of units sitting around already. Um, Basically, I had to use this piece of software called Digital Video Repair from Rising Research. I suggest you check that out. And it was able to save a great deal of video information that had gotten corrupted from a couple of videos. This is game two of two games between TheRaffy and Harkodos that was played last week, and it's another really good game. Thankfully, not a whole lot aside from massive army building has happened up to this point. You can see both players are well established. Um, this is Harkodos down here as the Atreides. He is piling up a lot of quads. He is really going nuts on quads, and here's me saying, "Well, this is going to be interesting, no matter how it works out." Um, it's going to be some great examples of what to do or what not to do. So there's a lot going on here. Now let me try to catch you up real quick. I see some units down there in the lower left that are scouting for TheRaffy. I see that little bunch of green there. Yeah, there they are, a bunch of flak trikes. So he's thinking about harassing that harvesting operation. Harkodos is just piling on quads, more quads than you can imagine. Has an awful lot of faith in them. And Harkodos, I remember in these games, he had some awful good spirit. He just couldn't be brought down. No matter what happened, he was defiant and assured of his abilities and his capacity for victory. So he really threw all he had, and he did a good job of never backing down in the face of having a whole squadron of Harkonnen troopers getting slaughtered by Fremen, which is what happened last game, unfortunately for him. So here's a little scouting group. It looks like that Harkodos is sending out, still continuing to amass quads right in the middle of Worm Sign, which is not good. And in general, when you throw down a whole lot of queues like that, you really, really want to put them on rocks. That's a really good idea, because you don't know exactly when you're going to have money to finish those last few queues, unless you're brilliant, a savant or something. Um, you're just not going to know when those are going to finish, and you're not going to know when the next worm sign is. So, much better idea to put all your unit queues onto rock, so that when they're finished, there's no danger of this happening, because I'm sure he's lost, quite a few units here. Here is TheRaffy. Now, you see all those units right there? Those are saboteurs. TheRaffy has gotten a palace and is allied with the Spacing Guild, which gives him a discount on the starport purchases, and also it gives him the ability to buy saboteurs who are invisible and do very high damage to enemy buildings. They can take down enemy structures in seconds. So they're very weak and they're very slow. They're nothing like they were. Well, not nothing, but they're very different than they were in the original game, Dune 2. Looks like they're on the move down there on the lower left. As far as general army composition, you can see that TheRaffy is mixing things up pretty well. But here are all those saboteurs coming down the left, making sure they stay out of the scouted sight range of Harkodos. So he's going to have a nasty surprise. I mean, given that they're invisible, they don't need to do this. TheRaffy, he's just doing that out of force of habit to try and walk around the edges to avoid being seen. But he doesn't need to do it. He can, more or less march them straight up to the enemy base and then just start skirting around a little bit. But, I mean, he's avoiding scouting, so it's good. Saboteurs, they can be seen if a unit gets within one cell of them with a range of 1, or they get involved in combat. Then they get exposed. Otherwise, they're always invisible. So really, it's up to TheRaffy when he wants to try and march them into his enemy's base. He's got a trading post down here, which has the same kind of invisibility after a mobile trading post and MTP has been deployed. He's got that right there, so he's got good vision. Now all he needs to do is find a place that's 3 cells wide where he can just thread the needle, kind of, and walk that line of saboteurs straight into his enemy's base and avoid being seen until he really needs to use them. Now there's a whole pile of tanks, and he's got a whole pile of light vehicles up front, got a few siege tanks, and here is Harkodos deciding, well, I think I have enough quads. Now I'm going to build 30,000 siege tanks. And once again, throwing them all out on the sand. It's just not good, because sooner or later, when as soon as they finish, unless you have a lot of carryalls to provide support and to give them airlifts as they get built, then they're just going to be in trouble. So he's throwing a lot of money out there on the sand. So we'll see what happens with that. I honestly don't remember. I did record this video earlier, but I'm recording the voice for it now, so I'm not in control of the screen. Can't direct this mouse and everything. Just got to expect myself here from the me from the past to do a good job of showing you what's going on. So TheRaffy is amassing a pretty good sized force here. Here's me saying that I'm gonna freak out when somebody actually gets into a fight, because there are so many units here. And incidentally, this is a great way to stress test a game. And we have over 300 units in total are walking around. That does include buildings, so it's not quite as many as you think, but it's a lot. We got a lot of units moving out here. This is this is more than you'll see even in other real-time strategy games. It's not like my network code isn't perfect. You'll see all kinds of bugs and loss of sync and junk like that, but this is starting to get pretty good in terms of performance. So some of these large battles are possible. So both sides are just getting ready. They're just getting ready, and here come the saboteurs. So TheRaffy is finally starting to move these guys in. He sees he's got a window, a little easy path straight into the back of his base, and he's going to go right for that Conyard that past me is pointing out for present me to pay attention to. So here come the saboteurs, and Harkodos has no idea they are there, cannot see them. That construction yard is going to go down very, very fast. A few hits and bam, it's dead. Now, TheRaffy, if he wanted, he could have just walked away and they probably would have gone invisible again, but you can see he's taking the fight in. He's moving them a little bit closer. Just a few more hits, he'll take down that wind trap. Unfortunately, they're starting to get embroiled in combat a little bit, so they're trying to defend themselves. And you can see they get wiped out very, very quickly. They're weak as all get out. So he spent, nine, what was it? I think probably 9 or 10 total saboteurs. So he spent about $2,000, about 2,000 credits, and he was able to destroy a construction yard, a refinery, a wind trap, maybe something else. I didn't see exactly what went down, but he did a fair amount of damage, and it's just more important to kill those construction yards, because they don't just cost a certain amount. It's not like they're just, they don't even just cost the 900 that you pay for an MCV, because you need to tech up to that. So here's a fight. Okay, here's a massive quad attack that's really going to do badly. I mean, there's so many different kinds of supporting units on the other side, and all the quads. I like the little flank attack he's doing up here on the harvesters, but and it looks like he's planning kind of another flank attack on the left there, but it's just terrible. I mean, he's got all those siege tanks sitting back there, and they are not helping this attack, and he's attacking during worm sign. It's just all wrong. I mean, he's hitting tanks with quads, which is just a mistake in the first place. Even Ordos tanks will just kick the crap out of Atreides quads, and not to mention there are siege tanks, rocket launchers, and all sorts of stuff standing around. TheRaffy did not have to try at all to defend this. So, that whole pile of siege tanks right there could have done so much to change the outcome of that battle. They would have been firing on people while the quads were in front of them, and if he had waited for worm sign to pass by, he could have. It could have been just a better fight than it was. So unfortunately, Harkodos is in a position where he's got to kind of pick up, and there is a rebuild of a whole pile of saboteurs for TheRaffy. He wants to do exactly